उमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So welcome all of you all for our Bhagavad Gita overview course. So we are in the second last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17. So before we get into this chapter, let's do a quick overview of the first 16 chapters. How many of you are ready for it? So just the acronym. Chapter 1, what is the name of chapter 1? That is the acronym for chapter 1. What is the name of chapter 1? नाम क्या है चैप्टर 1 का? Observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And the acronym for chapter 1 is doubt. How many verses are there in chapter 1? 40, 46, 46, 47. Good. Chapter 46. Good. So next week we'll complete 18 chapters. After that we'll have like a proper quiz. Okay? We'll give you all some time to study and then we'll do something. Chapter 2 is called Contents of the Gita Summarized. What is the acronym for chapter 2? Gita. G-I-T. Very good. Chapter 3 is called Karma Yoga. What is the acronym for chapter 3? 3. T-R-E-E. Chapter 4, what it is called? Transcendental Knowledge. Acronym for chapter 4 is Years. Very good. Chapter 5, Karma Yoga. Yeah, Action and Krishna Consciousness. What is chapter 5 acronym? Step. Chapter 6 is called Dhyana Yoga. What is the acronym for chapter 6? Easy. Chapter 7, what is the title for chapter 7? Knowledge of the Absolute. What is the acronym? Head. Chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme. Akshara Brahma Yoga. What is the acronym for chapter 8? Dead. Chapter 9 is Transcendental Knowledge. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. Correct? Chapter 9. Chapter 9 acronym is King. Chapter 10 is Vibhuti Yoga. What it is called in English? Opulence of the Absolute. What is the acronym for chapter 10? C-S-E-E. Chapter 11 is Virat Rup Darshan, Universal Form. Acronym for chapter 11? Rupa, R-U-P-A. Chapter 12 is called Devotional Service, Bhakti Yoga. Acronym for chapter 12? God, G-O-D. Chapter 13 is called Kshetragya. So basically nature enjoyer consciousness, chapter 13. What is the acronym? Wise. Chapter 14 is 3 modes of nature. What it is called? The acronym? Trap. Chapter 15 is Purushottam Yoga, Yoga of the Supreme Person. Chapter 15 acronym is Home, Home. Chapter 16, which we did last time. What is chapter 16 called? Divine and demonic nature. And the acronym for chapter 16 is dog, D-O-G. Good. So far so good. So today we are going to do chapter 17, which is called the divisions of faith. So chapter 17 in total has, how many verses? 28 verses. So the acronym for chapter 17 is FACE, F-A-C-E. So, because of different levels of faith that we have, we show different faces, different masks to people, right? Srila Prabhupada would often give this example. How we see the world ultimately depends on our state of consciousness. If you are wearing a red color glass, we will see everything red. If you are wearing a black color glass, we will see everything black. So depending on our level of faith, that's how we are going to see this world. And already in chapter 14, Lord Krishna has introduced the three modes, Sattva, Raja, Tamo. So Lord Krishna continues that discussion here, that how everything in life, our faith, our austerity, charity, everything depends on the three modes of nature. How everything is tainted by these three modes, that is the subject matter of this particular chapter. So this chapter has 28 verses and the acronym is FACE, F-A-C-E. The first 13 verses speak about faith, because the chapter is called Divisions of Faith. 1 to 13 speak about the concept of faith. And we all know that faith is an integral part of life. Okay? So many people feel that spiritual life only there is faith, but faith is needed in every aspect of life. Recently, the Ahmedabad plane crash. After that, people are still traveling in flight. What is the guarantee that the other flights will not crash? But still, if you don't have faith, you cannot do anything in life. So faith is needed, but the faith has different kinds of moods, different kinds of flavors depending on our state of consciousness or the state of the mode that we have. So the first verse, Arjuna begins with a question. Arjuna Vacha, Yesha, you all can repeat after me. Arjuna Vacha, Ye Shastra Vidim Utsrijja, Yajante Shraddhayanvita, Tesham Nishta Tuka Krishna, Sattvam Maho Rajastama. So Arjuna begins this particular chapter. No need of it. So Arjuna begins this particular chapter by asking a question. His question is, what happens to those people who worship, who do some kind of worship, but not according to scripture, according to their own imagination? So if you remember the previous chapter, text 23, chapter 16, Lord Krishna says, Yaha Shastra Vidyam Utsrajya Vartate Kamakaratha Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti Na Sukham Na Paramgatim. So Lord Krishna explains that anyone who doesn't follow scriptures, he will never be happy in this world or the next. He will not achieve peace, happiness, nothing. So ultimately, Lord Krishna in the 16th chapter, Lord Krishna is defining whom? A demon or a demigod, a asura and a deva. So how does Lord Krishna define who is a demigod and who is a demon? In essence, who is a demon, who is a demigod? Anyone remembers last time's discussion? The clue is there in this shloka only. Exactly. One who follows scriptures is a demigod. One who doesn't follow scriptures is a demon. That's how Lord Krishna describes it. Right? A demigod or a devata, one who is having divine qualities, will live according to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. And people who break it are called demons. Now Arjuna's question is, very intelligent question. What happens to those people who don't follow scriptures, but they do some kind of worship? They have faith in some Baba, something they are doing, some so-called spirituality. What happens to them? Are they in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance? This is Arjuna's question. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, Arjuna is asking this question why? Because we find in today's society, So many people, instead of following scriptures, they follow something on their own only. They start to worship a human being as God, lot of faith. They invest a lot of faith in that process. So what happens to such people? Do they attain perfection? Do they have to take birth again? Which mode they fall under? This is Arjuna's question. Okay? Text 2. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Trivida Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Sa Swabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheti Tam Shruno. So Lord Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, according to the three modes of nature, according to the mode one is in, that person develops a certain kind of faith. And this faith is in three levels. Satviki, Rajasi, Tamasi. In Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. And now Lord Krishna is about to explain this in detail. So here the word Dehinam Sa Swabhavaja. So we all get a Swabhav. We understand Swabhav. Swabhav is nature. We all get our nature based on the previous association that we have. So someone may be more prominently in the mode of goodness. Someone may be more prominently in the mode of passion. Someone may be more in the mode of ignorance. How is this defined? It is not random. It is not happening haphazardly. It is because of our association in our past life, we have a certain inclination now. But Srila Prabhupada explains here, we may be in a certain mode now, but we can gradually elevate ourselves. From Tamogun, we can come to Rajagun, we can come to Sattvagun. And what is the process? The process is the process of bhakti. When we come in association of devotees, what is happening? Our nature is slowly getting changed. We are coming from the lower modes to a higher mode and finally to a spiritual mode. So Srila Prabhupada explains here, this change of mode can only happen in the association of sadhus, when we follow the process of bhakti. Now from text 3, Lord Krishna explains faith in these three modes, sattva, raja, tamo. Text 3. Sattvanurupa sarvasya Shraddha bhavati bharata Shraddha mayoyam purusho Yo yat shraddha sa eva sa. So Lord Krishna is explaining the same principle, that according to one's existence, depending on a particular mode, one develops a particular type of faith. So Prabhupada explains in the purport, everyone has faith. The question is, what he has faith in. Even an atheist has faith in something. That faith is always there. So now Lord Krishna from the next verse, he explains faith in these three modes. Text 4. Yajante satvika devan Raksha yaksha rakshasmi rajasa Pretan bhuta ganan chanye Yajante tamasa jana. So now Lord Krishna is explaining faith in the mode of goodness. How will you understand whether someone is in the mode of goodness? So someone who's in the mode of goodness will worship devatas, will worship demigods, and someone who's actually completely beyond the modes. So Vishnu worship is also in the mode of goodness, but actually Vishnu worship is considered to be beyond the mode of goodness. It is called Vishuddha Sattva ya Vasudeva Sattva. But here Lord Krishna explains, those who are in the mode of goodness, generally they'll worship some devata. Those who are in the mode of passion, they will worship demons. And those who are in the mode of ignorance will worship ghosts and spirits. And we find that. So this is worship. Spirituality has different levels. So many people equate all spirituality to be same. But all spirituality is not same. There are different levels of spirituality. So those who are in the mode of goodness, as I told you, the highest is those who worship the Supreme Lord. But those who are not conversant may worship other demigods, Brahma, Shiva and others, like that. Right? And then Prabhupada gives an example of someone who is in the mode of passion, worshipping a demon. So Prabhupada explained during the World War II, Prabhupada writes here in the purport, there was a huge group of people in Calcutta who were worshipping Hitler, because they felt that Hitler is very, very powerful. So there are these kinds of people who worship some powerful politician, some very powerful rich guy. These are called people in the mode of passion. And then those who are in the mode of ignorance, you will find them, doing all tantric kind of puja vidhi. So these people are completely in the mode of ignorance. So Prabhupada gives an example. Generally in a village, if they come to know there is a ghost living in a particular tree, they will go and offer food to that ghost. They will start worshipping that ghost. So this is completely in the mode of ignorance. But Prabhupada explains here, actual worship, God worship, is for persons who are transcendently situated in the mode of pure goodness. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that actual real worship of God is not even in the mode of goodness. It is beyond the mode of goodness, which is called Vasudeva Sattva, ya pure goodness. That's how Lord Krishna explains worship in three modes. So now from text 5, Lord Krishna explains that how not only worship, even austerity, penances, charity, these also come in three modes. Text 5 and 6. Ashastra vihitam goram tapyante yatapojana damba ahankara samyukta kamaraga balanvita karshayanta sharirastam bhutagramam achetasa mam chaivanta sharirastam tan vidhi asura nishchaya. So Lord Krishna explains who are demons. Lord Krishna is giving an example here. So demons, not necessarily they are completely materialistic. We'll find demons also doing austerity. Just like Hiranyakashipu, he also did a lot of austerities. The kind of austerities Hiranyakashipu did, none of us can ever do. Right? Still Hiranyakashipu is counted as a demon. So just because someone is doing some austerity doesn't make him a demigod. We have to see why he is doing that particular austerity. So Lord Krishna explains here, those who undergo austerity, tapasya, very intense tapasya, but not recommended in the scriptures. Again, the key is here, who is a demon? Who does something of his own, who uses his own imagination to do some kind of worship, he is considered to be a demon. So someone who does tapasya, not recommended in the scriptures, out of pride and ego, impelled by lust and attachment. Like Hiranyakashipu went to do this tapasya for what? For his own lust, to fulfill his own desires. Such people torture their bodies. They undergo a lot of suffering for their bodies. They torture the super soul within, and such people are called demons. So Prabhupada explains here, such demonic people do not understand the ultimate goal of life. And what is the ultimate goal of life? To achieve Krishna. So if that goal is not clear, such people do everything and anything to get their desires fulfilled. And Prabhupada finally concludes, if somehow or the other, even such a demon who has no hope, if he comes in association of devotees, if he comes in association of sadhus, gradually he can come to the right path. So Prabhupada is giving this key here, that whatever our condition may be, whoever may be in whatever situation, whichever mode, ultimately if someone is fortunate, Brahmande Brahmite Kono Bhagyaman Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. If you are very fortunate, then we'll come in association of devotees. And in that association of devotees, one will understand the goal, and gradually one will raise himself in the higher modes. Now in text 7, Lord Krishna explains how the food that we eat is also in three modes. So this is something very practical for all of us. Text 7. Aharastva api sarvasya trivido bhavati priya Yagyas tapas tata dhanam tesham vedam imam shruno. So Lord Krishna says what to speak of tapasya, yagya, tapasya, dana. So till now Lord Krishna spoke about Shraddha, faith in three modes, worship in three modes. Now Lord Krishna is going to explain in the next set of verses food in three modes, yagya in three modes, tapasya in three modes, and dan, charity in three modes. how everything is in three modes and there is a distinction between them. So Prabhupada explains here, for those who think that everything is same, that is not the philosophy of Gita. Anyone who thinks that this is also same, that is also same, this yajna is same, that yajna is same, Prabhupada is saying here, this is not the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna here is very clearly discriminating. Even in spirituality, there is a discrimination. Is your spirituality in the mode of goodness? Is it in the mode of passion? Is it beyond? So this kind of discrimination is very, very important. So Prabhupada explains here, Bhagavad Gita basically is meant for all of us so that we can become more and more wise. If you don't understand the philosophy of Gita, anyone may come in the garb of a spiritual guru and they may completely fool us. So understanding this wisdom is very, very important so that we understand what yajna is, what tapasya is, what bhakti is, what spirituality is. So now Lord Krishna explains in text 8, what is food in the mode of goodness. Ayu sattva balarogya sukha priti vardhana rasya snigdha stira hridya ahara satvika priya. So what is food in the mode of goodness? First is Ayu Sattva Bala Rogya. Food in the mode of goodness, good food will increase your duration of life. It will increase your Ayu. Sattva, it will purify your existence. It will bring more Sattva Guna in your existence. So there is a saying in English, we are what we eat. Right? Ultimately the body, the brain cells, everything is made of the food that we eat. So depending on what kind of food we eat, that is the kind of thought process, cells that are going to get formed. So therefore, Sattva refers to purifying your existence by eating the right kind of food. Bala. So Bala means strength. Food that gives you strength. Arogya is health. So those who follow the naturopathy style, they'll tell you that there is no need of medicine. Food only is your medicine. If you can eat the right kind of food, that itself is medicine that can give you right strength and health also. Sukha, this kind of food in the mode of goodness will give you happiness. Sukha, Preeti will give you satisfaction also. And then Vivardhana, it's always increasing your happiness and satisfaction. Rasa, this food is juicy. Snigdha, Snigdha is very fatty, very nutritious. And then wholesome. Hridya, Ahara, Satvika Priya. It is wholesome, pleasing to the heart. So these are qualities of food in the mode of goodness. And Prabhupada explains ahead in the purports what kind of food fits into this category. Fruits, vegetables, grains, milk. These are food that fit into this category. So a demigod is defined how, so Lord Krishna defined a demigod means one who is in the mode of goodness. And demigod will stick to this kind of food. So having this kind of food is very, very important so that we can not only grow spiritually, but we can grow even materially, we can become much more better. So if you study, we can have a different class altogether. But if you study vegetarian food and non-vegetarian food, there is not one single disease that a vegetarian food can give you. But there are n number of diseases non-vegetarian food can give you. Right? So our body is basically meant to be more sattvic so that we live a more non-violent diet. That's what Lord Krishna explains. This is food in the mode of goodness. What is food in the mode of passion and ignorance? Text 9. Katva amla lavanati ushna tikshna ruksha vidahina ahara rajasisyeshta dukha shoka maya prada. So how does Lord Krishna define food in the mode of passion? Anything that is extreme, too bitter, too sour, too salty, too spicy, too pungent, too dry and burning basically. These are food to dear to food to people in the mode of passion. And such food causes what? We saw food in the mode of goodness, what it causes, it gives you good health, it gives you satisfaction. But here, food in the mode of passion will cause you distress. It will cause you disease. It will cause you misery. That's what will happen. Many times we eat food, but we are not able to connect. As soon as you are able to connect what are the effects in the body, you may be able to change your diet also. And then what is food in the mode of ignorance? Text 10. Yata yamam gata rasam puti prayushitam chayat uchishtam api chamedyam bhojanam tamasapriyam. Bhojanam tamasapriyam. That means what is food dear to the people in the mode of ignorance? Yata yamam gata rasam. Food that is cooked 3 hours before being eaten. So generally, all fast food comes in this category. Right? Every packed food technically is in this category. So that means in Vedic style, in Vedic way of eating, you eat what you cook, you eat it immediately. No storage. You don't keep it for a long time. So food that is kept for 3 hours and then eaten, that is actually in the mode of ignorance. So in one sense, fridge is not recommended too much. Right? Otherwise you put it in the fridge for 1 month, you keep eating it for 1 week. That's not Vedic understanding. So just finish it off. You cook immediately and then you eat. The problem with this is why people don't appreciate all this understanding, because people are lazy. To cook 3 times, who's going to do it? Simple is put it in the fridge. Easy work. But Prabhupada explains one thing here, we will see in the purport. Prabhupada explains the only exception is prasad. Prasad, if it's there for many hours also, you can still eat it. But generally the principle of health is you try to eat it fresh. This is the first thing. Food that is prepared 3 hours before being eaten. Food that is tasteless. Food that is decomposed, putrid. Basically, api chamedyam, it refers to non-vegetarian food. Food that is dirty, food that is basically decomposed, putrid. So this is in the mode of ignorance and darkness. So Srila Prabhupada explains here, the purpose of food. What is the purpose of food? To purify the mind and to aid bodily strength and to help us grow spiritually. This is the purpose of food. So we have to choose a food that is giving strength to the body. So Prabhupada explains somewhere, see, people feel that you have to eat non-vegetarian food for protein, to get strength. But I often give this example, the 3 most powerful animals. One is a bull, second is a horse, and third is an elephant. These are the 3 most powerful animals, right? Very powerful. If the bull kicks you, a horse kicks you, very difficult to survive. All these 3 of them, all the 3, they are vegetarians. They eat only grass. So the understanding that you have to have non-vegetarian food for protein and all this is completely bogus. It's completely bogus. Not at all scientific. Not at all scientific. You can have good health just by vegetarian food. So Prabhupada explains here, great authorities have selected food that is best for health and they increase the duration of life. So the great authorities in the Vedic time, the Rishi Munis, they are very, very intelligent. So they have selected the best food. And what is the best food? Prabhupada says milk products, sugar, rice, wheat, fruits, vegetables. These are the best food. So if we have this kind of food, there is no need for anything extra. And then Prabhupada also...
Sugar is also considered.
Sugar, yeah. Something sweet, yeah. Sugar, jaggery, yeah. Anything that's naturally available. And nowadays the way they process sugar is also different. But basically the principle of jaggery and a vegetarian kind of diet, that's what Prabhupada is stressing on. And Prabhupada says the slaughterhouse is completely subhuman. And then Prabhupada explains here, the only exception for this is prasad. So generally you eat food 3 hours, before you eat you cook and have, but the only exception is prasad. Prasad can be taken even if it's made 1 day before, whatever, it can still be had. So that's the idea. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. Lord Krishna, I think this is the 9th chapter probably. Lord Krishna says that the kind of foods that are supposed to be offered to him, is all in the vegetarian category. So therefore, one should make food, offer it to Krishna and have. So Prabhupada ends this purport. Therefore, to make food antiseptic. Antiseptic means what? To make food very divine, free from all sinful reactions, very pure for your body, mind. So Prabhupada says, therefore, to make food antiseptic, eatable and palatable for all persons, one should offer food to the Supreme Person of God. So we are just not vegetarian, we encourage people to offer it to Krishna and have. That's the idea of food. So Bhagavad Gita is a very practical book. See, Lord Krishna, imagine this. Lord Krishna is on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, standing with Arjuna, and Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, this is the kind of food you should eat. Right? So this is something very important that Lord Krishna is stressing on. Okay, so now Lord Krishna comes to the next part, which is Yajna. Yajna in three modes. Afala kanksh bir yajno vidhi dishtyo ya ijjate yastavyam eveti manaha samadhaya sasatvika. So what is yajna in three modes? So Lord Krishna is saying here, yajna that is performed according to vidhi dishtyo. Vidhi dishtyo means according to direction of scriptures, not whimsically. Yajna that is done according to direction of scriptures. Yastavyam, as a matter of duty, without desire for reward. Such yajna is called yajna in the mode of goodness. First principle is you do according to scripture. You don't concoct your own yajna. It has to be according to scripture. Second is you don't have desire. So therefore Krishna uses the word afala akangshibi, devoid of any desire. There is no material desire. You are doing it only for the satisfaction of Krishna. Such yajna is called yajna in the mode of goodness. So Prabhupada explains in the purport, generally there is a tendency to do a yajna for some purpose. People when they do yajna, they do it for some purpose, right? Either for getting a child or getting a job, some kind of yajna. But Lord Krishna says, this kind of yajna is not in the mode of goodness. It should be done as a matter of duty. Just like Prabhupada gives another example, when people go to churches or temples, why people generally go to? To ask something. So this kind of going to temple also is not in the mode of goodness. So Prabhupada says one should go to the temple or church as a matter of duty to offer respect to the personality of Godhead, offer flowers, eatables without any purpose of obtaining material benefit. This is the idea of religion, the highest idea of religion, that you do your worship as a matter of duty. And you go and offer something to Krishna, not expecting something in return. So this is what Prabhupada is explaining here. So simply one should go to the deity just to have darshan of the deity, to offer some service, offer respects and come back. So this kind of yajna is yajna in the mode of goodness. Now in text 12 Lord Krishna explains yajna in the mode of passion. Abhisandhyaya tu phalam dambartam api chaivayat ijjate bharata shreshta tam yajnam vidirajasam. Abhisandhyaya tu phalam. Any yajna that is performed for material benefit or for the sake of pride, dambartam, for the sake of pride, such yajna is called yajna in the mode of passion. So Prabhupada says generally people perform yajna for some material benefit in this world or to get elevation to heavens. This is called yajna in the mode of passion. Or someone performs yajna out of pride, that I am such a great person, I am doing such a big yajna. Right? This is all in the mode of passion. Text 13. Yajna in the mode of ignorance. Vidhihinam asastranam mantrahinam adakshinam shraddha virahitam yajnam tamasam parichakshate. So Lord Krishna says, anyone who performs yajna without direction of scriptures, vidhihinam, without following scriptures, without distribution of prasadam. So Prabhupada explains here, what is the biggest, the real yajna in Kali Yuga? Sankirtan yajna. Yes, and then prasada distribution also. Right? So Prabhupada mentions, yajna is never complete without prasad distribution. So what we are doing in ISKCON is literally a yajna. Right? So there is Sankirtan, the discussion of Krishna Katha, and then there is prasad. So here Lord Krishna says, any yajna that is done without referring to scriptures, asirsta annam, without distribution of prasad, without chanting of Vedic hymns, and without giving dakshina to the priests, such yajna is yajna in the mode of ignorance. So these are principles, right? You perform yajna. Yajna means to satisfy Krishna, right? Either you do ahuti, a physical kind of yajna with fire, or you do sankirtan yajna. Simultaneously there should be distribution of prasad, chanting of Vedic hymns, and then offering dakshina to priests. So such kind of yajna is actually a divine yajna. But when these things are not followed, it is in the mode of ignorance. So this is the first section where Lord Krishna has explained faith 1 to 13. The acronym for this particular chapter 17 is face. So F refers to faith, and 1 to 13 Lord Krishna is speaking about faith, how people with different kinds of faith worship different demigods or demons like that. And then Lord Krishna has also spoken about food in 3 modes and yajna in 3 modes. Now from text 14, FA, the A of this acronym refers to austerity. 14 to 19, Lord Krishna speaks about austerity, tapasya, in 3 modes. Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamogun. Text 14. Devadvija Guru Pragya Pujanam Shocham Arjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. So before Lord Krishna explains austerity in 3 modes, Lord Krishna explains 3 types of austerity. And what are the 3 types? Lord Krishna says austerity of the body, austerity of speech, and austerity of mind. What is tapasya for the body? What is tapasya for speech? And what is tapasya for mind? Very important verses. So Lord Krishna is explaining here, what is austerity for the body? Deva Dvija Guru Pragya Pujanam. Austerity of the body is to worship God, to worship Brahmanas, to worship spiritual master, and to worship superiors like father and mother. So tapasya means what? Doing something that you don't like. Bowing down, no one likes. A lot of austerity, na? You have to get up, then bow down, get up again. There's a lot of austerity for the body. So Lord Krishna says, what is austerity for the body? In front of Krishna, bow down. Offer your dandavat. When you see your guru, when you see brahmanas, bow down. When you see your superiors, bow down. So this is austerity for the body. We were reading Krishna Leela. Even when Lord Krishna would go to Hastinapur, when he would meet Yudhishthir Maharaj, he would touch his feet. When Lord Krishna met Kunti Maharani, he would touch her feet. So Lord Krishna also followed this. It's not that Lord Krishna just saying it. He followed it. When he would see Brahmanas, when Sudama comes to the house of Lord Krishna, what does Lord Krishna do? He doesn't tell his servants, you worship. Lord Krishna is personally sitting down and worshipping Sudama. So this is austerity of the body, using our body to bow down in front of superiors. Then, Shaucham. What does Shaucham mean? Cleanliness. This is also austerity, right? To take bath, people don't like only, right? To go and take bath is also an austerity. So you should ideally be able to do it. Brahmanas, Prabhupada would explain, at least 2 times, 3 times a day you should take bath. So this is also an austerity. No use of scent. You have to actually go and take physical bath. Shaucham. Arjavam. Arjavam means simplicity. This is also very, very important. Austerity of the body is to be simple. Simple living, high thinking. Simplicity basically means no duplicity, no politics. You have to be very simple in your dealings, very straightforward. Then Brahmacharyam, following the principle of celibacy. Ahimsa, following the principle of non-violence. Right? Non-violence in words, non-violence in action, non-violence in diet basically. So this is austerity for the body. So when we say tapasya, the word here is Shariram tapa uchyate. Tapasya means what? How does Prabhupada define tapasya? Tapasya means voluntarily accepting something. Even if you don't like it. Even if the mind doesn't like it. So bowing down, following brahmacharya, following cleanliness, being simple, being non-violent may be difficult, but you still do it because it's an austerity for the body. This is the principle here. Now in text 15, Lord Krishna explains what is austerity of speech. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priya hitam chayat swadhyaya vyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. Vanmayam tapa uchyate. What is austerity of speech? Anudvega karam vakyam. Our speech should be non-agitating. Right? We should not agitate others. We should not hurt others, which are words. We have to be very careful of the use of words that we have. Right? Because physical hurt can go away. Physical scars can disappear. But the scars that people get through the wrong use of words is very difficult to go away. So one should speak that which is pleasing. Satyam, Priyam, Hitam, Chayat. So Lord Krishna gives 3 principles how to speak. Simple. Satyam, Priyam, Hitam. First is what you are speaking, is it the truth? Second is what you are speaking, are you speaking it nicely? And then is it beneficial? So basically these are like 3 filters Lord Krishna is saying. First is what am I speaking? Have I verified it? Right? We immediately come to some conclusion, but is it the truth? Have you verified your facts? Right? So Satyam, what is that you're speaking? Is it the truth? Second is, even if you're speaking the truth, Lord Krishna is saying that is not enough. You have to know how to speak it also. Even if there's a truth in it, still there is a way of speaking it. That how is also important. Even if what you're saying is correct, if it is not said properly, it is wrong. The tone in which you speak, the time in which you speak is very, very important. That how. So Priyam refers to how. What to speak is Satyam. Priyam is how to speak. And Hitam is why to speak. Why you are speaking it? Is it going to be beneficial for the other person? If it's not going to be beneficial, if it's not going to help him, then don't speak it. Right? So this is austerity of speech. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat swadhyaya vyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapochyate. And also swadhyaya. Swadhyaya refers to study of Vedic literatures or chanting verses, chanting the holy name. This is also austerity of speech. So Prabhupada explains here, as far as penance is concerned, one should not speak nonsense. That's the whole idea. Right? What you're speaking should be something related to truth. When Lord Krishna is saying Satyam, that means you have to speak on that Param Satyam. If you can't speak, then you should just follow the principle of Maunavrat. Don't waste your energy. Because if you calculate how much of our day goes in speaking, that's also waste of energy. Lot of energy gone. So if we have to learn to preserve that energy, if you are using it for the right purpose, we should use this faculty. Otherwise, best is to keep quiet. So Prabhupada explaining here, this is the principle especially in the Vedic circles, in the spiritual circles. There is a lot of stock of Vedic literatures. There is a limitless stock of Vedic literatures, and one should study this. This is called penance of speech. To speak about Krishna, you should know something about Krishna. And how will you know about Krishna? Do Swadhyay. You have to read all these books. Srila Prabhupada has written so many books for all of us. We are in the 17th chapter, but this is just an overview. All of y'all, I don't know how many of y'all are doing it. You all should go back and read these verses, read the purports. So Prabhupada is saying here, we have so much Vedic literatures, Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. If we don't study them, we are actually wasting our life. So it's very important for us to take time, become very sincere in the study of books. Okay? So this is austerity of speech. Now, what is austerity of mind? Text 16. Mana prasada somyatvam Maunam Atma Vinigraha Bhava Samshuddhir iti etat Tapo Manasam Uchyate. So what is austerity of mind? So Lord Krishna is saying Mana Prasadha. The first austerity of mind is satisfaction. Why is this an austerity? Because the mind is never satisfied. So becoming satisfied is an austerity. We have to do it. The mind will keep wanting its unlimited desires. So we have to learn to be satisfied. Mana prasada, satisfaction. Then Saumyatvam. Saumyatvam means simplicity. Prabhupada in the word to word writes, no duplicity towards others. No hurting others. No, backbiting, not doing all this. Being very, very simple, straightforward. No duplicity. Maunam. Maunam refers to gravity. Yeah, to control speech, but maunam refers to gravity. You understand the principle of gravity? Grave. Right? It's not that you have to just keep speaking, You have to be a little grave. When it's needed, you speak. When it's not needed, you don't speak. When it's needed, you join some conversation. If it's not needed, just walk away. So being grave is also very, very important. We have to use our energy. And who can be grave? One who has a big goal in life. One who doesn't have any goal in life, he'll get into every conversation, keep speaking, keep wasting his time. But you have a big goal in life, you remain grave. So the gravity is also very, very important. Self-control, purification of one existence. Atma Vinigraha is self-control. Bhava Samshuddhi is purifying one's existence. These are austerity of the mind. Satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, purification of existence. So Prabhupada explains on the purport, the mind wants sense gratification, but the mind should be trained not to think about oneself, but to think about others. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in a song he explains, my dear Krishna, my only desire is, let me not think about my satisfaction, let me think about others' satisfaction. Right? So that is how one should grow. One should grow beyond oneself and think about others. So Prabhupada explains the best training of the mind is gravity of thought. And what does gravity of thought mean? One should not be deviated from Krishna consciousness and one should leave thoughts of sense gratification. And Prabhupada explains here, the more the mind thinks about sense gratification, the more it will be dissatisfied. Right? Because it will always want more and more. So try to get detached from this and try to focus more and more on Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada explains here, in the present age, we unnecessarily engage the mind in so many different ways of sense gratification. And so there is no possibility of minds becoming satisfied. No one is satisfied because there are too many distractions. If there are too many distractions, how can you remain satisfied? So Prabhupada is concluding, what is the way out of this? The best course, listen to this, very important. So the issue in this world is the mind is always distracted. Mind is in too many places. Mind is never satisfied. So how to experience satisfaction, focus? Prabhupada is saying here, the best course is to divert the mind to Vedic literatures, which is full of satisfying stories as in Puranas and the Mahabharata. One can take advantage of this knowledge and thus become purified. Again the same principle. So Prabhupada is saying mind needs some focus. You have to focus it somewhere, otherwise it's going to get distracted. So the best way to focus is, and to what to focus on, is on the Vedic literatures. If you are absorbed in the stories of Krishna Leela, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, the best way we can stay away from all the distractions and we can purify our existence. Otherwise there is no hope. So in this way Prabhupada is explaining here, one should be self-controlled, one should control the mind and more focus on the Vedic literatures that Lord Krishna has mercifully given all of us. So now Lord Krishna has explained austerity of three kinds. Austerity of body, mind and speech. Now Lord Krishna is coming from text 17. These three austerities, austerity of body, mind and speech, can be in three modes. Sattva, Raja, Tamo. Right? Now he's explaining this point. Text 17. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapasthatrividam nare afala kankshibhir yukte satvikam parichakshate. Tapasthatrividam nare. So Lord Krishna explains three kinds of austerity. Which are the three kinds? Body, mind and speech. So these three kinds of austerity is in three modes. So when this three kind of austerity is performed with faith, transcendental faith, Shraddhaya, not expecting material benefit, afala akankshibhi, without material benefit, for the sake of the Supreme Lord, such austerity is called austerity in the mode of goodness. Very simple. When you perform austerity of body, mind and speech for the Supreme Lord, not expecting result, with great faith, is called austerity in the mode of goodness. So now what is austerity? Tapasya in the mode of passion. Satkara mana pujartam tapo dambena chaivayat kriyate tat iha proktam rajasam chalam adruvam. So penances, austerity performed because of pride. Mana pujartam, so that people will respect me, people will honor me. Right? Such kind of worship, such kind of austerity is in the mode of passion. And such kind of honor and all this is also completely unstable. So Prabhupada explains here, many people perform austerity to get some political post or to get some wealth and all these things. But all this is very, very temporary. Text 19. Muda grahe nat manoyat pidaya kriyate tapa parasyotsa dhanartam va tattamasam udharatam. Austerity performed out of foolishness. Muda grahe nat mano. One is working because of foolishness without understanding scriptures. Pidaya, one who gives lot of austerity to the body, injures others, destroys others and destroys oneself also. Such austerity is called austerity in the mode of ignorance. And Prabhupada gives the example of Hiranyakashipu here. Hiranyakashipu did so much austerity for what? To become immortal. He did so much austerity. At the end he didn't become immortal also, he died. And Prahlad, his son, didn't perform any austerity, easily he got the whole thing. Right? So, here Srila Prabhupada is explaining here, people perform such austerities to achieve something in this world, but all that is temporary. Little of that austerity if you perform for Krishna, Krishna will become very, very happy. So this is austerity in the three modes. Goodness means done for the Supreme Lord with faith without expecting result. Passion means you do it for your own honor, for your own worship, out of great pride. And ignorance means you are torturing your own body, but out of foolishness, without regard for scriptures. Now, this is the second section, 14 to 19, which speaks about austerity. FA of the acronym. C, the acronym is FACE. C refers to charity. 20 to 22, the set of 3-4 verses. Lord Krishna speaks about Dan, charity in three modes. Datavyam iti yadhanam diyate anupakarine deshakale cha patre cha tadhanam satvika smritam. So charity, Dan, how should be given? It should be given as a matter of duty, without expectation of return, at the right time, right place, and most important, to the right worthy person. This is called charity in the mode of goodness. So if you see all this, Lord Krishna is not recommending doing anything whimsically. Before you do anything, you have to think very properly. Is my charity going to the right place, to the right person? Is he going to spend it properly? Is it the right time? Is it the right situation? Is it my right mindset? Am I doing it as a matter of duty, or I'm doing it for getting something in return? This is the mode. So Prabhupada explains in the purport, there is no recommendation of giving charity indiscriminately. That's not recommended here. You don't just give it indiscriminately. You may find some beggar on the street, you may give him 100 rupees, but that guy may use it for smoking and drinking. So you have to know also where your money is going. So Prabhupada explains here, ideally charity should be given to a Brahmana, to a Vaishnava, to a temple, and also at proper times if possible during lunar eclipses or the end of the month, like that. That's what it is. And it should not be done for your own glory or anything like that. Very selflessly in the service of the Lord. Okay? Text 21. Yattu pratyupkarartam phalam uddishya vapuna tiyate cha parilixnitam tadhanam rajasam smritam. Charity performed with expectation of return. Prati upakarartam, for the sake of gaining some return. I'll give something, but then I'll also have to receive something. Phalam uddishya vapuna, with a desire for some result, or in a grudging mood, not happily. You're doing it in a very grudging mood. This is called charity in the mode of passion. So Prabhupada explains what is the understanding of grudging mode. Grudging mode is after you have given, you feel, arey, why did I give? That's the complete wrong understanding. You have complete wrong mindset of doing it. Right? So this is in the mode of passion. You have to give, when you give with some expectation, or you do it in a grudging mode, not in a happy mode. Just because someone is telling you, you do it out of force. This is all in the mode of passion. Text 22. Adesha kale yadhanam apatrebhyascha diyate asatkritam avagyatam tattamasam mudharatam. Adesha kale, charity performed at an impure place, at an improper time, and to unworthy persons, apatrebhyas, right, at an improper place, improper time, and most importantly to an unworthy person, and also not performed without attention and respect. This is called charity in the mode of ignorance. You may be giving some charity to someone, and that person may be in need, but when you do it also, it has to be done with great respect, right? You have to do it very nicely. So Prabhupada explains here, contributions for intoxication and gambling are not encouraged here. You'll find people going to politicians, and politicians give money for what? Doing a party. And what's happening in the party? Drinks and all sort of nonsense, and they're sponsoring it. What is the use of such kind of charity? I mean, better they could give it to ISKCON temple, it can be used properly. So people spend it. How much charity goes for a cricket match? You'll find cricket matches going on, politicians sponsoring it left, right, center. So this is completely thoughtless. The direction is lost. Why there is a sponsorship? Why there is charity? So Prabhupada explains here, contributions for indulgence in intoxication and gambling is not encouraged here. That sort of contribution is in the mode of ignorance. There is no benefit. Rather, sinful persons are more encouraged. People get more encouragement that we can keep doing all these parties, and some politicians will sponsor it. Similarly, Prabhupada is saying here, first is one should definitely not give it to a wrong person for a wrong cause. Second, Prabhupada says, even if you are giving to a suitable person, it should be given with respect and attention. Even if you are giving it to the right person, even to a Vaishnava, but if it's not given with respect and attention, it is considered in the mode of ignorance. So this is the third section, 20 to 22, charity dhan in the three modes. So we saw FAC, right? Faith 1 to 3, verse number 1 to 3, austerity 14 to 19, charity 20 to 22. Now the last section, 23 to 28, Lord Krishna explains the last part. E refers to the enjoyer of everything. Ultimately, the enjoyer of dhan, yajna, tapasya is all Krishna. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam nam shantim rachyati. So ultimate purpose of all your dhan, yajna, tapasya is to satisfy Krishna, who is the Bhokta. So the last section, 23 to 28, Lord Krishna stresses this point about how everything should be offered ultimately to Krishna. Om Tat Sat iti nirdesho Brahmanastri Vidasprita Brahmanastena Vedascha Yagyascha Vihita Pura. So Lord Krishna is saying from the beginning of creation, the three words Om Tat Sat were always used during chanting of Vedic hymns, Yajna, during sacrifices, during Dan. For everything, the word Om Tat Sat was used. That means what? The principle of Om Tat Sat, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, means it indicates the absolute truth. That means whatever you are doing, your Dan, your charity, your Yajna, everything has to be for Krishna. Om Tat Sat. That's the whole idea of this section. Do it for the satisfaction of Krishna. Sam Siddhir Haritoshanam. And then Prabhupada says, if you do it in this way, you are going back to the spiritual world, that is guaranteed. Text 24. Tasmat omiti udharartya yagyadana tapakriya pravartante vidanokta satatam brahmavadina. Brahmavadinam refers to transcendentalists, yes, spiritualists. So those who are great spiritualists have always performed Yajna Dana Tapakriya. So Lord Krishna has spoken in this chapter about what? Yajna, Dana, Tapasya. Sacrifice, Dana, charity, Tapasya, Yajna. Kriya is activities. All this should be performed in accordance with scriptural injunctions. Pravartante Vidanokta. Vidanokta means according to scriptures. And always beginning with Om, the mantra Om, that means to attain the Supreme. So therefore you have verses in the Vedas which says Om Tad Vishnuhu Param Padam. The ultimate goal is to satisfy Vishnu, which is the perfection of all activities. So that's what Lord Krishna is explaining here. Text 25. Tad idi anabhisandhyaya phalam yajna tapakriya dana kriyascha vividha kriyante mokshakankshibhi. So without desiring fruitive results, without expecting anything, one should perform your charity, dan, everything with the word tat. And the purpose, the idea of tat is one wants to get out of this material world and attain the spiritual world. One has to attain mukti. So Prabhupada explains here, one should perform it for Krishna without material gain. Ultimately, our aim is to go back to the spiritual world. Acts should be performed for the ultimate gain, not for material gain. And what is the ultimate gain? Being transferred to the spiritual world, back home, back to God. So the idea in Bhagavad Gita, we are in chapter 17, but we are literally seeing this come up practically in every chapter. Lord Krishna is explaining the way we live in this world, the way we work in this world. We saw in the 8th chapter, Lord Krishna telling Arjuna, Ma manusmara yuddhacha. Remember me and fight. So now here Lord Krishna is explaining charity, austerity, everything. Do it for me and not for material gain. There is a verse in the Bhagavatam, the first canto, second chapter, which says, one should not work, one should not have desires for one's own sense gratification. All one's desire, kamasya nendriya priti labo jiveta yavata. So the verse says, kamasya nendriya priti. One's desire should not be used for fulfilling one's own sense gratification. Kamasya nendriya priti labo jiveta yavata. One should live with whatever comes on its own. But what is the purpose of life? Jivasya tattva jigyasa. The purpose of life is tattva jigyasa. So the whole idea that Lord Krishna is giving the Bhagavad Gita is, don't expect for your own sense gratification. Live in the service of Krishna and in the service of others. Text 26-27. Sadbhave sadhubhave cha saditi etat paryujate prabhasate karmani tata sadshabda partayujyate yagye tapasi dhane cha sthiti sad iti chochate कर्म चैव तद अर्थीयम सद इति एवा विधीयते. So you see in these two verses, the word sat is used how many times? Sadbhave, sadhu bhave cha, sad iti etat paryujate, prashaste karmani tata, sat shabda partha yujyate. The word sat is used so many times. And what does sat mean? Sat refers to that which is eternal, the absolute truth, right? The word sadhu, the word sattva, the word sat refers to eternal. And in the next verse, Lord Krishna explains, anything that which is not sat is called asat, which is temporary. So we have these two choices. What we are doing, is it for sat or is it for asat? Is it for the eternal or is it for the temporary? So how one should live life based on sat? So here Lord Krishna says, the absolute truth is the object of devotional service, which is indicated by the word sat. So when you perform sacrifices, everything for the pleasure of Krishna, what happens? All that sacrifice, charity, everything, that also becomes eternal. The one who is performing it, he is also eternal, because everything is performed in the service of that eternal Supreme Lord. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Again, Krishna is who? One who is eternal, filled with eternity. So this is the idea of converting everything to Sat. The devotee becomes Sat. So therefore a devotee is called Sadhu. So Prabhupada explains here, acting in Krishna consciousness is called Sattva. And one who is fully in Krishna consciousness is called Sadhu. The word Sadhu also is connected to Satya, Sad. You understanding the point? So that means you have to become a Sadhu. Who's a Sadhu? One who lives in accordance with Sat. Yes, Sad. One whose life is in accordance with that absolute truth. Such a person is called a sadhu. So Prabhupada says here, the word tad artiyam, you are seeing here, the word, there is this word called karma chaiva tad artiyam. What does tad artiyam means? It is meant for him. The word tad artiyam means offering service to anything which represents the Supreme. So how one should live life? Including service as cooking, helping in the Lord's temple, or any kind of work of broadcasting Lord's glories. So, how one should live life? In the service of Krishna. And there are many ways in which you can serve Krishna. Many ways. You can cook for Krishna, you can clean for Krishna, you can broadcast his messages. This movie is such a great platform. They have broadcasted this message of Krishna in such wonderful way. Mahavatar Narasimha movie. What we can't do in hundreds of classes, one movie has done in a big way. So there are many ways in which one can engage, right? Whatever your talents you have, whatever desires you have. These supreme words, Om Tat Sat, are used in many ways to perfect all activities and make everything complete. So this is the whole idea of this particular chapter, that food, austerity, what all we saw in this chapter? We saw worship, faith, different kinds of faith. We saw different kinds of food in 3 modes. We saw tapasya in 3 modes. We saw dan in 3 modes. We saw yajna in 3 modes. But the ultimate conclusion of everything is Om Tat Sat. Everything in the service of that eternal Krishna. So therefore our dharma is called Sanatan Dharma. We offer eternal service. Bhakti is eternal service. It is Sanatan. In the service of that Sanatan Supreme Lord. So when you do that, the process is called Sanatan Dharma. And by doing that, we also become Sanatan and enter into that Sanatan spiritual world. If you don't do it, finally Lord Krishna explains in text 28, Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapas taptam kritam chayat asad iti uchyate partha nachat tat pretya nohiha. Anything done as sacrifice, charity, penance without faith in Supreme is impermanent. It is called asat, and it is useless both in this life and the next. Simple conclusion. So Lord Krishna has concluded this chapter by using 2 words. Sat, asat. Bas. This you understand, you understood everything. So Lord Krishna is saying everything that you do. What is that verse in the Bhagavad Gita? Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. What is the next verse? You can check. The next verse of Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Yat karoshi yad asnasi yad juhosi dadasi yad tapasyasya kauntaya tat kurushta madarpanam. So that verse also Lord Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever charity you give, whatever you eat, tat kurushta madarpanam, you have to offer it to me. That is called sat. If you don't do that, Lord Krishna is saying here, anything is useless, it is asat, it is temporary in this life and in the next. So Prabhupada concludes here, the way one can achieve success is association of devotees. One should find association of devotees, one should get right training, and then gradually one's bhakti will evolve, one will ultimately develop love for God, which is the message that Lord Krishna is giving in the 17th chapter. Now, one last chapter, 18th chapter, very important chapter, the conclusion, right? The perfection of renunciation that we will see on the coming Monday. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone has any questions, any comments? Have to finish it. It's a long chapter. The next one, what he's saying is correct. That's the biggest chapter in Gita, 78 verses. But yeah, beyond that is Janmashtami. So we'll complete it somehow. I may do a little concise, but we'll do the essence.
Verse 25.
On verse 25, na? Well, here liberation, but for us liberation means attaining the Supreme only. Verse 25, na? Pokshakankshi, by those who actually desire liberation. So Prabhupada is explaining in the purport very clear. Act should be performed to be elevated to the spiritual position. One should not act for material gain. Act should be performed for the ultimate gain of being transferred to the spiritual kingdom, back home, back to God.
Not for liberation.
So liberation for us is going back to the spiritual world. You are getting connected to Krishna. That's how Prabhupada explains here. Okay? Hare Krishna. So today is 4th. We have exam.